So I felt it was only right to do this video while wearing Desi's sweatshirt. I am now in my hibernation era. I never leave that era as it is, but if you have not checked out her shop, you need to. She does drops because she does have a lot of people who order her sweatshirts. They're such good quality, so warm inside. The sleeves are extra long because, you know, we like to be Barbie handing it out here. And just like, it's so comfortable. I am kind of burning up a little bit today because your girl's wearing a sweater and it's like 90 degrees outside, but in my eyes we've already reached fall. So I'm just going to continue being me and wearing what I want to wear. You'll already be able to tell by the title, obviously, of this video, but this is going to be my fall/autumn starter pack. What it takes to get me in the fall mood, things that I do once I'm in the fall mood. It's just recommendations basically, and also letting you into what I'm going to be doing this fall, and you're welcome to follow along or, you know, do your own thing, take your twist on it. But I've just always loved watching Desi's version of this video, and so I wanted to do my own take on it and just tell you guys everything that is getting me in the fall mood right now, things that I'm ready to do in fall. So I have a list of things going from like books to activities to decorations. Some of them are going to be things that I have read or have seen or own, and then some of these things are going to be things that I want to do, things that I want to read, things that I want to watch, and I will let you guys know for each category, you know, what is separate. But let's just go ahead and get in the video. Obviously the first category is gonna be books, and all of the ones that I'm talking about first are books that I want to read but I have not read yet. They're books that I am looking forward to getting to into the fall. The first one I do own. I cannot find my copy, which is not a shocker. I have a mess behind me. I'm getting to that, I promise. I'm going to clean this up. I'm gonna get my shelves fixed this week so that I can actually go into fall decorated and everything like that. But the first one that I want to get to is Cackle by Rachel Harrison. From what I've understood from my friends who have read this book and told me countless times to read this, that it is cozy horror, but it also does have, you know, it does have those horror vibes in it, but it's going to give you more of a cozy feel, kind of like, I'm trying to think of other cozy horror-ish books. To me, Grady Hendrix is cozy horror. A little bit, you know, it's like Lindsay Curry for middle grade, stuff like that. Like, they have good lessons, good endings most of the time, but they are kind of horrific to read at some points. So I don't really know a lot going into this one. I kind of want to be surprised, and yeah, I'm just ready to pick it up finally. This next one I have had on my shelves for what feels like forever, and that is The Mary Shelley Club by Goldy Moldavsky. I, again, never knew really anything about this. I am obsessed with Frankenstein though. Love Mary Shelley. I want to get more into her things, other things that she has written, and she's just one of my favorite. But what sold me on this is that it says this is a little bit Scream, a little bit Gossip Girl, a pulpy, page-turning, suspenseful read that keeps you up all night. And so, kind of sold me on it. So it says, new girl Rachel is eager to make a fresh start at Manchester Prep, but as a scholarship student she struggles to fit among the rich kids and finds herself turning to horror movies for comfort. Literally same. Somehow the stabby serial killers and homicidal dolls seem less scary than bored trust fund babies. Then Rachel gets caught in a prank gone awry, going from weird loner girl to public enemy #1 overnight. To Rachel's surprise, however, the incident attracts the attention of the Mary Shelley Club, a mysterious society of students who orchestrate elaborate pranks known as fear tests, which are inspired by urban legends and movie tropes. At first, Rachel embraces the power that comes with behaving recklessly, but as the fear tests escalate, the competition turns deadly and takes on a life of its own. When someone begins targeting the club itself, Rachel has to track down the killer, even if it means finally confronting the dark secrets from her past. So I think what I'm most looking forward to, I feel like there's going to be some movie references when they said that, you know, these fear tests are inspired by urban legends and movie tropes. I was kind of already sold. It is a thicker book, but I'm just determined to read this and see if I've been missing out, especially on Goldy Moldavsky's writing. I feel like I talked about this one a lot last year and I never got to it, and so this is probably going to end up being one of my first fall reads, and it's The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandanna. My friend Rachel over at Happy Go Lovely Sleeves is obsessed with this book. She absolutely loved it. She said that I'm going to love it, and I fully trust her opinion on that. And I know that Jan over at Jan Agaton read it, loved it, and somebody else read it very recently and was obsessed with it, so I have to get to it like soon. And I just know that it's about this girl who is going to teach these 3 witches that are like teenage, you know, beginner witches at this school, and she meets a librarian there who, and other people who live in the house and have been taking care of these girls. She meets a librarian there, and he's very protective of the girls. You know, he's been looking after them for most of their lives, and he's just very kind of weary about her. And so it's gonna be super cute. I just feel like it's gonna be everything cozy and everything magical that I want in a fall read. The next book that I want to read, I do not own. I'm probably going to end up buying it or borrowing it from Olivia, and that's Suburban Hell by Maureen Kilmer. I don't really know what this is, but I know that it's, again, that cozy, funny horror, kind of like Grady Hendrix and Rachel Harrison, with Cackle, and that's exactly what I want out of this. It's supposed to be a bunch of these suburban housewives that are taking care of their family, you know, taking care of their husbands, and doing all of it, all that it takes to be a wife and a mother. But then something happens where there's a dead body that gets involved, and I just think that it's gonna be super hilarious and kind of like Finley Donovan meets a horror book, if you will. So I'm excited to see what comes out of it. Again, I don't really know too much about it. That I'm giving you exactly what I know, and I'm just gonna go in based off of that. The next book is one that you guys have heard me talk about before. I'm very excited because this one comes out on my birthday, September 5th, and I will be waiting patiently in line at Barnes & Noble for it. I will get there before it opens if I must and go grab it because I'm super excited about it, and that is September House by Carissa Orlando. I don't know if this is a debut novel. It looks like this is her first novel. She has written stuff before, but she has not written like a full novel, so that is exciting. And I'm just, it sounds so good. It's this creepy house that every Halloween, or no, it's part of this creepy house where every September the blood just drips down the walls and things start happening crazy. This couple moves in, they have a daughter, their daughter moves away because she can't handle it once she's older, and then it ends up splitting the couple apart. But the mom is determined to stay in the house and the daughter is determined to help the mom. So yeah, it just sounds really cool. I love a Victorian haunted mansion house type situation, so I'm excited to see if, you know, this is something that I'm interested in. I also think that the cover is just super gorgeous, and I just am so excited to read it. It's literally probably my second most anticipated book of the year to come out besides House of Roots and Ruin. Okay, and now I'm going to get into some books that I have read that I recommend you read during fall, or if you're trying to get into that fall autumn mood, these are definitely books you can pick up now and start getting into. So the first one I recommend is In the Company of Witches by Auralee Wallace. I read this last year. It is the beginning of a new series. I think there may be 3 books out now, 2 or 3 out. I'm not exactly 100% sure, but it says, for 400 years, the Warren witches have used their magic to quietly help the citizens of the sleepy New England town of Evenfall thrive. There's never been a problem they couldn't handle. Then Constance Graves dies while staying at the witch's bed and breakfast. At first it seems like an accident, but it soon becomes clear that there's something more sinister at work, and Aunt Nora is shaping up to be the prime suspect. There's nothing Bryn Warren wants more than to prove Nora's innocence, and it hurts knowing that even 2 years ago it might have been easier. Bryn, after all, is a witch of the dead, a witch who can commune with ghosts, but she hasn't used her powers since her husband died and isn't even sure she still can. Bryn will just have to hope that her aunt's magic and her own investigative skills will lead her to answers and maybe back to the gift she was ready to give up forever. I love the found family, or just the family aspect of this book. I love the magic system. There's talking animals. There are just different types of witches, and it's just so good. It's like if well, it's kind of reminds me of The Good Witch, but it's like if The Good Witch and Stars Hollow kind of combined. I just really, really enjoyed this one, and I think if you have never tried cozy mysteries before, this one will be the one to get you into them. And if you're still looking for those cozy fall and autumn vibes, which I feel like we all love, I also highly recommend Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. This is a cozy fantasy book, and it is super, super good. I'm going to read the back of the synopsis for you guys, just so you definitely understand what it's about. It says, after a lifetime of bounties and bloodshed, Viv is hanging up her sword for the last time. The battle-weary orc aims to start fresh, opening the first ever coffee shop in the city of Thune. But rivals old and new stand in the way of success, not to mention the fact that no one has the faintest idea what coffee actually is. If Viv wants to put the blade behind her and make her plans a reality, she won't be able to go it alone. But the true rewards of the uncharted path are the travelers you meet along the way, and whether drawn together by ancient magic, a flaky pastry, or a freshly brewed cup, they may become partners, family, and something deeper than she ever could have dreamed. Okay, please believe that I wanted to keep that sweatshirt on, but I was literally dying. So, I changed. But, anyway, so you're following this orc, Viv, who is opening this coffee shop. Nobody knows what the heck coffee is, but she found it and she's super excited to share it and just kind of settle down and have a cozy lifestyle. We meet a lot of like rambunctious, eccentric but lovable characters in this book, and I just love this story so much. The second book in this series, which is going to be a prequel called Bookshops and Bone Dust, is coming out very soon, and so I definitely highly recommend getting to this one as quickly as possible. This one is kind of along the lines of cozy horror for middle grade fans, and this one definitely spooked me at times, which I was kind of surprised, but also very much happy because it just made the book even better, and that is The Haunting of Aveline Jones by Phil Hickes. I really enjoyed this one. Aveline is moving to a new town, and she's just really into ghost stories and, you know, those figuring out kind of detective skills that she has, and she just has to figure out a mystery when she finds one. So she ends up finding this old spooky diary in a bookstore, and she ends up reading it, and things start happening, and she ends up finding a friend along the way who ends up helping her kind of get into this mystery to see what's going on, and she ends up having to solve this little girl's disappearance. And the girl disappeared a long time ago, but Aveline refuses to rest until it is solved. And this is part of a series. I think there are 3 books, if I'm not mistaken. I think the second one is called The Bewitching of Aveline Jones, which I do own and want to get to, so highly recommend. Again, if you're a middle grade lover of horror, or you just need another fall book. And I couldn't go, like I said, I've been mentioning Grady Hendrix throughout this whole thing. Couldn't go with this video without recommending one of his books, and I'm gonna have to go with my favorite, which is my best friend's Exorcism. This book is the best. It is the most hilarious, most gross, scary-ish thing that I've ever read. Absolutely adore it. It's got really good messages and meanings in it, and it will definitely make you laugh. But it also has scary things such as like the devil and exorcisms and, you know, possessions and stuff like that in it. And it also has kind of like gruesome things where, you know, just stuff is involved. I don't want to say it, but if you enjoy horror, you don't mind some, you know, kind of gruesome things or just kind of gross things happening, then I really think that you're gonna like this book. It does take place in Charleston, which is another reason why I love it so much, because I live near Charleston, and it just was full of so much, and I never knew where he was gonna take it, and it was just the best. So I highly recommend it, especially as we get closer to Halloween and like the spooky part of the season. And the last one that I want to mention is Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. I first read this last year. This one is kind of an older book, I think. I mean, it's not like old, but it came out in 2019. It says Sarah's sister Becca disappeared 1 year ago searching for the ghost of Lucy Gallows. In the sleepy town of Briar Glen, Lucy's road is nothing more than local lore. But Sarah knows it's real and Becca is trapped on it. To save her, Sarah and her skeptical friends meet in the forest where a mysterious road unfurls before them. But Lucy's game has its own rules and every mistake summons new horrors. Vengeful spirits and broken, angry creatures are waiting for them to slip up, and no one is guaranteed safe passage. Sarah knows that if she steps onto the road, she might not come back, but Becca needs her and Lucy is waiting. If you guys listen to audiobooks, this is the one to listen to because it was so creepy. It added so much to the atmosphere of the story. And again, you have these friends who are skeptical, and it's kind of like, you don't really know where it's going, but I just really loved it. The horror fan in me really loved it, so I can't recommend it enough. Okay, moving on, I wanted to let you guys know about some TV shows, again, that I'm very excited to watch, and other ones that I have seen before, and I'm just wanting to share my love of them with you guys. So if you haven't seen them before, go watch them if you think you can handle them. I do watch a lot of horror like shows and movies, so definitely don't force yourself to watch anything you don't want to. But so I feel like if you're looking for a cozy fall show, you can never go wrong with Gilmore Girls. The whole town of Stars Hollow just screams out autumn to me, and I absolutely love it. I am still working my way through the show, but I think it's the perfect thing to watch when it's just like a nice, like, quiet fall evening, and you just are cozied up with your cozy blanket and a cup of hot tea or hot cider, and you just can settle down by the fireplace or just, you know, on the couch and watch Gilmore Girls. That just sounds amazing to me. I'm also a really big fan of Mike Flanagan's work. The show that I'm mentioning of his here is The Haunting of Hill House. I feel like I watch this every fall. I make sure that I do because it is one of my favorites, and I just can't get enough of his work. So I'm very excited that I get to watch this again. I never grow tired of it. The story is amazing. The scares are amazing, and the cinematography is amazing. So I feel like you can't go wrong with this if you're looking for a scary show to watch during the fall season. The next one I recommend is Stranger Things. This one has a more magical element to it. I'm sure that everybody has seen Stranger Things by now, or if you haven't, I definitely highly recommend that you go watch it. It does have those like sci-fi vibes, but it just screams out fall to me for some reason. You know, because most of the time the kids are wearing long sleeves and jeans, or coats and jeans, and so I'm just associating it with the colder weather. But if you want something that has a little bit of an extra twist with more of a plot line, definitely check Stranger Things out if you haven't already. The next one is a series of unfortunate events. I prefer the movie over the TV show, but I still really enjoy the TV show as well. I think it's so good. I just love the story of the Baudelaire children. You can also read these books. I just associate them and the dark colors of the show and their story and the way that they dress. I associate it with fall and kind of the darker aspect of fall, maybe like a dark academia type thing, but it's just so good, and it's got a lot of mysteries to it and just kind of what's going to happen next, which I always again associate with fall. So definitely check it out. It's more low-key and more like down to the heart than the other shows that I've mentioned. So if you're looking again for more of a show that's going to warm your heart, definitely check that out. I also personally really like the Twilight Zone show. I think that a lot of them are so creepy and they make you think. The thing about them is most of them are in black and white, so they don't really have a specific season or color palette or scheme that they're following, but the stories in them will make your mind think and will blow your mind sometimes, and they will make you feel grossed out or feel icky or just scared. So definitely look up triggers and just be fair warned before you start into the show. It's kind of like, it's basically the OG Black Mirror. They are a bunch of different episodes and they have nothing to do with each other, but it's just like, what if this happened, or what if this happened? Like, what if all books were not, you know, not allowed? What if this little girl went missing? What if you were stuck in space? All of this stuff, like, it's just crazy, and you need to check it out if you haven't. These are shows that I'm excited to watch, and I'm not going to go into, you know, what they're all about, because you can look them up, but one of them is the fall of the House of Usher, which again is directed by Mike Flanagan, who directed The Haunting of Hill House and those shows, and again, love him so much, so I'm very excited to see what, you know, his retake on the fall of the House of Usher. The next one that I really want to watch is Bates Motel. I recently watched Psycho, and I was definitely intrigued by the storyline, but I did not like the black and white, like, it just didn't scare me, and it didn't give me the, like, the plot was good, but I didn't like the execution. And so I've been told that I would really like Bates Motel. I just cannot find anywhere to stream it where I don't have to purchase the first season. I can just stream it. So that's what I'm struggling with, but hopefully I get to watch it soon. The next one is Castle Rock. I found this one just kind of like, you know, scrolling through different TV shows, and this one looks super interesting and super just dreary and creepy. And the next one is Mayfair Witches. This one looks more of like a witchy Gilmore Girls type of show, but probably a little darker than Gilmore Girls, but it just looks super fun and like something I would enjoy. And the next one is Monsterland. This one is super interesting, and from what I understand, it is going to be kind of like a show where they're trying to defeat these creatures from different horror movies, horror genres, different things like that, and I just feel like I'm going to get a lot of flashbacks to other horror movies or other horror stories, and I just love when that happens. So I'm excited to finally check this out. And I will make sure to link down below or put in the caption like where you can stream these shows and movies so you guys are aware. So the next category is movies. The first ones that I'm mentioning are going to be the ones that I have already seen before, but movies that I love to rewatch every year or try to rewatch every year. So the first one is kind of like, it's a movie, but it's basically the whole series, or basically the whole, not fandom, but just, you know, world, I guess, of these movies. It's the Conjuring movies. They're some of my favorite scary movies ever. The first Conjuring movie definitely gives me fall vibes, and it's just so scary, but also just so, I hate calling them my comfort movies, but they are. Like, is it bad that possession movies are comforting to me? Yeah, that's probably bad. I just love the movies, okay? So, moving on. Another one is Coraline. I know a lot of people don't like claymation, or stop movement films. It's just kind of not their thing, which I completely understand. But Coraline is just so heartwarming horror for me. I love it. I love the look of it. I love the colors, and it just, I don't know, it just scratches an itch in my brain, you know? Another one I recommend that I actually watched last year for the first time as well is Knives Out. It definitely gives you those fall autumn vibes with the atmosphere around it, and it's also a fun like clue mystery setup where you don't really know what's going on, and it was just super enjoyable. Plus Chris Evans is in it, so you already know I'm gonna watch it. Another one which you may be like, really? But yeah, is Remember the Titans. I have watched this movie. I started watching it when I was a little kid with my dad, and we kind of bonded over that movie. I know nothing about football. I mean, I know a little bit, but I couldn't pass like a test on what football is about. But I really love the atmosphere in this movie. I love the characters and the storyline. That movie will make you cry, will make you sad, it'll make you happy, it'll make you angry, and it's just got so many hidden meanings, and just not even hidden meanings, it just has so many meanings that it will have you thinking about life in general. So if that's the kind of deep thinking movie you're after, definitely check it out. And I can't go without mentioning one of my favorite movies that I watch around Halloween is Beetlejuice. Love him. Love the soundtrack of the musical. Love everything about Beetlejuice. Literally. Sometimes I feel like I relate to Lydia. Lydia is like, she's how I feel. The way she looks on the outside and her soul is how I feel sometimes. So take that and do with it what you will, but absolutely love that movie. It's just, again, it's funny, it's not really scary, it's just kind of funny and comical, and it can be sad, but it also just is a good film to watch. I also kind of don't know how I feel about this movie. I love the atmosphere, I love the dark vibes that it gives off. Hate the twist. Absolutely hate it. Don't want to deal with it. Don't like it. It's one of those, like, I don't know if I would ever watch it again, because I just don't know. It's one of those movies where you don't know how you feel about it, because it's a good movie, but like, ew, you know? And that is Crimson Peak. I'm not gonna lie, I did first click on this because it said it was a scary movie, and it also had Tom Hiddleston in it. So if you throw in a Marvel man, I'm probably gonna watch it, but I still think it's worth watching if you don't know the twist already. Okay, some of these movies I have wanted to watch, actually all of these I have wanted to watch for a while now and just have not got around to it, but this fall I am making sure that I do. The first one is Sleepy Hollow, which is, I think, came out in the 2000s, early 2000s, and it's starring Johnny Depp. Again, you're following, you know, the story and legend of Sleepy Hollow. The next one is When Harry Met Sally. This one doesn't necessarily take place in fall, but there is a very iconic scene that happens in this movie. You know, I have been spoiled for this movie. It's been out for so long that you're kind of like, well, duh, but there is an iconic scene that happens when, like, leaves are falling and everything like that, and so I am putting it in the fall category and watching it. The next one, which is not probably going to be a shock, is Practical Magic. I was really looking forward to reading this book, but then I have seen the worst reviews or people just saying, like, the book was okay but not really, like, their thing, and so I was like, forget it, I'm not even going to try and read the book before I watch the movie. Just going to watch the movie because I've heard that it's actually better than the book for once, so I'm gonna trust people's opinion. The next one is Fantastic Mr. Fox. This is a Wes Anderson, again, stop motion film that I have been so interested in seeing but just never watched. I know Wes Anderson has like a different type of directive that he takes on movies, but I just want to see if it's something that I would like to watch, because he did just come out with a movie called Asteroid City that looks good, and I want to see if the movies that he directs, if they're for me, you know? The next one is Trick or Treat. This one came out in like the early 2000s or maybe around 2010, so it's a little bit older, but I have seen so much merch from this movie and I just need to know what it's about. Like, it has always kind of creeped me out because it's like a little scarecrow headed kid looking thing, and I don't know what it is, but I'm now just to the point where I'm too curious and I just have to know. And the next one is The House of the Devil. This one is where like a girl like gets hired to babysit this house where she finds out the family like worships the occult, and so that would be scary and I have to see it. So okay, next we're going to talk about some activities that you guys could do if you are just like, I don't know what I want to do, but I want to be like fallish, I want to get into the fall and do some autumn activities, which these you can't do right now exactly, but coming up you can soon. And these are just some of my favorite things to do during the fall, but also some things that you just, like, I haven't done but I want to do, you know? So the first one is to go to a haunted trail, house, or maze. I have a haunted house I have haunted houses near me. I have like haunted mazes and trails also. I feel like they're everywhere you go. So I'm really excited to do one of those. I just have to find someone to go with me. I hope Olivia's into them. If not, may just have to live out my fantasy through YouTube videos or something like that. The next one is to go to a pumpkin patch. I did not get to go to a pumpkin patch last year, I don't think. I think I just picked out a pumpkin from like the store, but there's just nothing quite like going to a pumpkin patch, walking around, looking at all the different sized pumpkins and just picking the absolute perfect one for you. Another one that goes with that is to carve pumpkins. I think that I carved one a few years ago and it came out really, really good, so I really want to try it again. But this year I might try painting my pumpkin instead. I feel like that would be really fun, so we'll see, because I don't know what I'm in the mood for, but I just feel like crafting with your pumpkin's a good idea. Another one is to just have like a movie night in. I know that me and Olivia personally are probably gonna do these. I'm looking at her right now thinking like, we're doing this, girl. Like, I'm looking at you, Olivia, if you're watching. And we're gonna have movie nights. Like, I need a cozy movie night where we watch like Practical Magic or Hocus Pocus or something cozy and cute. And then I need a separate one for horror movies. So that's at least 2. The next one is to bake treats. There are so many fall recipes out there, you guys, and I'm gonna share some that I am gonna be trying this fall, or some that I have tried before that are delicious, and we're just gonna have a good time, okay? So we definitely need to bake some treats this year. I also put down diamond painting, specifically because I bought 2 diamond paintings. I'll put pictures up here of the ones I got from the Diamond Art Club, and they are ginormous. It's gonna take me all fall long to do them. I wanted to hang them up on my walls, but they're huge. Like, they're poster size huge. And so I'm a little nervous, but those are definitely gonna be added to the activities of things that I need to do. My favorite thing to do is to take some walks outside, because you can get your exercise in. It's not too hot, but it's also just so nice. There's like less pollen in the air. It's definitely less humid here in the south. The leaves are just beautiful, and I feel like the scenery is just so much nicer when you take walks outside in the fall. One of my favorite things to do in the fall is to have bonfires, but specifically where you make s'mores. I love to just sit outside with, you know, my cozy pajamas or a blanket on, and just have the fire set up and just listen to music, which, getting to that as well, it's just so much fun. It literally is just the best. So I'm excited to do that. And then again, s'mores are like my favorite ever, so we need to do those as well. Also, you can do this now, but I'm gonna go ahead and get out my decorating things and start decorating for fall, because I got some new stuff that I'm super excited to get into and just set up on my shelves and everything like that. And it will definitely put you in the fall mood, even if your weather is not exactly fall-ish. Another favorite thing to do is a fall picnic. Again, there are less bugs out in the fall and winter, so I feel like that's the perfect time to go do a picnic outside. I'm definitely gonna get things together for like a charcuterie board, and just take my book out there and a blanket and just enjoy the outdoors. I need more sun. Obviously, I'm pale, you guys. Like, I'm pale as pale can be. So we're getting some sun this fall. Another thing that I want to do is to find like a fun fall cocktail recipe. I know that there's some that you can use, like the cold apple cider that you buy at the store, and you can just like make an apple cider spice cocktail. So I'm really going to be looking it up and finding the perfect one that I just love. Okay, the next thing we're getting into is some music that I am super excited to just like listen to over and over and over and over and over and over again. So the first one's kind of obvious, I feel like, but I have already started listening to the Folklore album by Taylor Swift. Absolutely loving it, getting into it, listening to August on repeat while it's still August, loving it. It's just the perfect vibes. I also really love listening to musicals or just soundtrack albums. So I will be listening to Phantom of the Opera, and I will also be listening to the Eclipse soundtrack from the Twilight movie. I just think both of these have very like different vibes, but they're definitely putting me in the fall autumn mood. I also am a country girl at heart. You know, I grew up in the country. That's where I live. I still enjoy it. I love country music, and so if you've never heard of Ian Munsick, he just has a voice that kind of reminds me of like fall and winter. I don't know what it is. I think it's just like the raspy but like country voice. So his music is just perfect for when it starts turning fall. I would literally also listen to anything by the Lumineers. I feel like their music is just perfect year round. So I definitely listen to them more in the spring and in the fall. So I will be breaking out some more of their music as well. I also have just been feeling Paramore lately. Like, I always love Paramore, obviously, but I just have been feeling like listening to the This Is Why album so much more now that I'm getting into fall, and I just think that the music is a little bit darker and just a little more like back to how Paramore started. So just really looking forward to getting into that some more as well. I also have I don't use Spotify like a lot of people do, sadly, but I do use Apple Music, and usually I really get into some classical and jazz music around fall and winter time. So I will just bring up like a classical autumn or autumn jazz music, and it's just the best thing ever. I don't need words, I just want to be able to hear it, and it's perfect to go with an ambiance if I want to, or perfect to just like listen to while I read. And before we go, I want to mention some recipes. I will also leave the links to these recipes down below and where I found them. Again, these are ones that I'm looking forward to using or have used before and really enjoyed, and I just can't wait to get around to doing them again this fall. The first one is a new one that I found. I am not a big fan of pumpkin, which is why fall sometimes can be hard to find things that I like with drinks or anything like that, because a lot of things obviously like center around pumpkin. But I'm a big apple cider girl, so I found these apple cider whoopie pies that you can make, and they look so freaking good. I also really love ginger snap cookies, so I did find a new recipe that I haven't followed before that I think I'm going to follow this time around and see if it's any better than what I've made before. Elizabeth from Ponytails and Paperbacks also is like, you need to try butterbeer, and I know that it's not going to be as good as it is at Wizarding World obviously, but I do really want to find a recipe, which this one will not have a link because I haven't found it yet, but I want to find the perfect butterbeer recipe that is as close to the original as I can get. I also found some maple butter blondies, which look so good. I love the taste of like the mapley kind of taste with anything. Pancakes, bacon, you can put it on anything and I will love it. I'm also a huge fan of like Olive Garden's chicken and gnocchi soup, so I'm going to be trying to do my own spin on that. I may even use like turkey at some point and do turkey and gnocchi soup, because obviously turkey reminds me a little bit more of fall, and I feel like that would still be really good with the soup, so I can't wait to try that out. I also kind of want to try turkey pot pie. I've been wanting to try like a chicken pot pie homemade recently, and I just want it so bad, but I'm like, you know what, if I put turkey in it, it's fall, right? That's my logic, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then I have made bread before. I don't think that I made a sourdough, but my friend Elizabeth has been practicing and kind of just making a lot of sourdough bread in her free time when she can, because she just loves it, and she has been getting really good at it. So I'm gonna try to make some myself and just get like a spread or, you know, some jelly and jams and stuff to try on it, and just enjoy the taste of fresh baked bread from home. But anyways, I hope that you guys had a spooktacular time with me today. I also just got this cup from TJ Maxx that has a bunch of different ghost face on it, and you will be seeing this in future videos, because once I get it, you know, washed thoroughly in the dishwasher first, I will be using this all season long. So get ready, get your spooky drinks in hand. Hopefully I'll have my decorations up by the next time you see a video. But thank you so much. Can't wait for fall, you guys. It's finally here. We finally get to just revel in this fall season, and I can't wait to do it with you guys and just get to explore my creative side this year. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video.